Waters take over a home in on Clinton Boulevard, and this exclusive doesn't fall for it report. This is what we have to say.
12 News investigates. Jade Bilexa tells us this happens more than you think.
Shocking video on the inside of David Hughes' house on Clinton Boulevard. It's a home that he rents, but it's now one he can hardly recognize. Cut wires, damage to the walls, and a motorcycle in the middle of the living room. A neighbor told Hughes the moment she saw something wasn't right.
About 3 months ago, maybe a little better, she called me and told me someone had broken my back door. So I comes down and I replaces the board that was be on the back door. Next time she called me is about 3 weeks or a month later that someone was moving into my house.
Hughes talked to the man who moved in, a man who's listed on an official document as David Glaze. Hughes tells me that man says he bought the home at a tax sale. So Hughes checked to make sure all of his taxes were in order.
We need to go together and try to find out the person that actually sold him a fraudulent deed.
Hughes tells us after that encounter, he never heard back from the man who was living in his house. The Hinds County Tax Assessor's Office confirmed Hughes redeemed the property before he lost it. David Hughes says the person living here could also be a victim, but he can't get a clear answer, so he's looking for someone to shed light on the problem. Hughes told me he never gave Glaze permission to live in the home, so we called Glaze several times. Hey David, this is Jade Bilexa with WJTV. It's imperative you call me back. Thank you. Another number connected us to a woman who says she's Glaze's girlfriend. She told me he couldn't be reached for at least 2 weeks, but says the documents for the house were in a trust account. I asked a real estate attorney to shed some light on this case. Attorney Roger McGehee says for the purchase to be legitimate, paperwork would have to be filed at the courthouse and that Hughes can take action.
Mr. Hughes, according to the records that I can see, still owns the property and has the right to have them removed.
McGehee also says this kind of thing is a problem in the Jackson Metro.
I don't know if I'd say it's a huge problem, but it is a problem. People just find a house that's empty, go move into it, jump the meter box, and turn the water on themselves and live in it till the landlord finds out they're there.
Hughes is suing David Glaze and is working to evict him. Imagine this. David Hughes is at his wit's end and is ready to move forward with the eviction process. I want to re-emphasize the county confirms the Clinton Boulevard property belongs to him. If you have a problem and you need help, contact investigations at WJTV.com. For 12 News Investigates, I'm Jade Bilexa.
Wild horses and burros from western states are being captured and brought to the Arklatex for adoption. Now, one such auction was held recently in Marshall, Texas.
It sounds like a great thing to do, saving these horses, but the program actually is involved in controversy. KTBS 3's Jade Bilexa goes in depth.
These horses once roamed free. The Federal Bureau of Land Management gathered the 120 burros and horses from 10 western states. Crystal Cowan of the Bureau's Oklahoma field office says there's just not enough forage and water to support them out west, so they eventually arrived here at the Marshall City Arena.
And then they're taken to a holding facility where we can draw blood, vaccinate, deworm, start them on hay, give them plenty of water, start them that way.
The adoption fee for the horses, set by Congress, is $125. Adopters must prove the animals have access to food, water, and adequate shelter. Then they must be transported from the event site in an approved trailer.
I've been kicked, I've been struck, I've been bitten, I've been run over. But when you can go from that to having a good bridle horse or a good well-trained horse that you can sell to somebody, to a family with kids, and they can put whatever they want on there, it's pretty, it makes you feel good.
Jared Dittmer participates in the Mustang Challenge, a competition for wild horses adopted at Bureau events and facilities. He adopted 5 horses at this event in Marshall.
I mean, some of these horses they look like quarter horses and they perform really well, and I've had some really good luck with them, and I've showed them some other things and done very well.
But there is a lot of controversy over wild horses. There are lawsuits on different sides of the issue, from ranchers suing the Bureau of Land Management for a lack of horse gathers so there's room for their cattle to graze, to animal advocates like Wild Horse Education, which has documented horse roundups and wants them to stop because they sometimes lead to horses getting injured or even dying.
That video is from the beginning of this fight. So that was when I filed the first case against abuse.
We do also a bait trap gather, usually with water. So in the bait trap, pins are set up, horses come in to get water, and then the gate is shut behind them. The helicopter gather is the most humane way. Before the act was enacted, Mustangers would just rope them in the 50s. So it really is much safer now.
The Wild Free-Roaming Horses and Burros Act was signed into law in 1971 to manage, protect, and control these animals on public lands. Cowan says there's room for 26,000 wild horses out west. Right now, there are about 88,000.
So certainly there's a need for gather. If we did not gather, they would eventually starve to death and just be inbred. A portion of the horses are treated with a contraceptive. If they're pregnant, the foal is not harmed. They still have that foal, and then that contraceptive is only good for about 2.5 years after that.
It is an ongoing discussion. While many believe the horses are a symbol of American heritage and should be protected, others say the overpopulation leads to overgrazing. Jade Balexa, KTBS 3 News.
Well, 12 News has discovered a man accused of falsely occupying a Jackson homeowner's property is behind bars. It's a story we first brought you last week on 12 News Investigates.
And all new tonight, 12 News Jade Balexa has an update in a story you'll see only on WJTV.
The house that sat vacant has been made into a home, but not in the way David Hughes would like to see.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
Complete strangers taking up residence from what it appears with furniture, and the motorcycle we showed you last week now gone.
I really don't know what to think. I do need to get total possession of my property, and I can't do that with their property inside my house.
Alleged squatter David Glaze, according to jail records in the Hinds County District Attorney's Office, is in jail serving a 30-day sentence that started June 2nd when Clinton police picked him up on a contempt of court charge. The charge was for shoplifting in September. While he was being arrested, police say they found meth. That felony charge was sent to the District Attorney's Office in December. The DA's office says he'll be in front of a grand jury in the future.
I'm saddened to a point that I have to go through this. I'm saddened to a point where our laws don't protect us more as citizen people trying to do the right thing, and basically give people that do these crimes basically a slap on their fanny.
David Hughes needed the legal documents to verify what he already knew. Now he just wants the man out of his house.
David Glaze's friend.
Hughes called Glaze's companion while we were there in front of the house.
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
She didn't answer, but Hughes says an eviction notice will soon be served.
I'm thankful for Channel 12 News for the effort that you guys have made to help me work through this situation.
I've contacted the county. David Hughes is the owner of the Clinton Boulevard property. David Hughes originally believed David Glaze might have been scammed with a fake title deed, but we got down to the bottom of it, and Hughes didn't fall for it. If you have a problem, I'm fighting for you too. Tell me about it at investigations@WJTV.com. For 12 News Investigates, I'm Jade Balexa.